All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order this evening, the Thursday, October 30th meeting of the Hancock County Board of Zoning Appeals. I would like to advise you that all testimony is being recorded and is taken under oath. I would request that anyone wishing to speak only do so when they're called upon. Face our attorney to my left, and she will swear you in. All persons speaking need to give their full name, spelling your last name for our accurate meeting minutes. Please turn off all your cell phones, electronic devices, and other noise-making apparatus that you might have with you this evening. The order of those speaking tonight will be, Kayla will be giving a staff report that's going to be equipped with conditions, recommendations, and all those things to the board. And then we will bring the petitioner up for 7 minutes of presentation. That is then followed by a collective 7 minutes of remonstrators. So that's all remonstrators inside of the 7 minutes. We offer any government officials that might be here 3 minutes to speak, and then the petitioner then gets to come back for a 3-minute rebuttal. Our attorney will offer each party 2-minute warnings and 1-minute warnings as the time is expiring. We ask you that that all the persons here conduct themselves in a civil manner, and we do reserve the right to ask you to leave if you cannot do that. The first order of business this evening would be the adoption of last month's meeting minutes that were submitted electronically.
To approve. Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve last month's meeting minutes submitted electronically. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. I would also like to let everybody know that we have one member absent this evening. So Dennis, we have all but Mr. Fawcett. That means that in any decision is going to require 3 like votes. So whether that's an approval, denial, or whatever. So if you don't like your odds, you have the opportunity to withdraw your petition or ask for a continuance. You can think about that now, or you can, if you don't like how things are going and you want to ask for withdrawal when you come up, you're welcome to do that at that time. Okay, what else did I miss? I think we're good. Oh, this meeting is being recorded and streamed for public viewing. By participating in that, you acknowledge that your image, voice, and comments may be captured and made publicly available. This meeting has been properly noticed in accordance with Indiana Code 514-1.5. Our hearing items this evening, we have 5 items. And item number 2 has been continued. So I think I'd like a motion to accept that continuance for the record.
Moved. Second.
All right, moved and seconded to accept the continuance of item number 2. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, thank you. So that takes us right into hearing item number 1, which is Mr. Terry Stevens, special exception to variances in Blue River Township.
So our first agenda item tonight is a home occupation special exception with 2 variances from our home occupation standards. The petitioners are Terry and Heidi Stevens. The subject property is their home located at 6241 East 200 South in Blue River Township, and it's an agricultural zoning district. Their property is shown here, located on the right of a shared driveway, minor subdivision, outlined in blue. The home occupation use is for a furniture repair business, and the variances are 1, to have a sign, and 2, to operate out of an accessory building. Here is the site plan that was provided, showing the new barn located behind the house as an extension of the driveway. They've also shown where their septic is located. Their hope is to operate the business, make it available for the public to visit on up to, I think, 24 times a year is the condition that staff recommends. We have gotten a lot of support for this particular home occupation from neighbors as well as others in the community. So the variances for the business area, the way our ordinance reads, the home occupation must be located in the house, and it can't exceed a total area of 500 square feet. It's a little, to be honest, if we look at the history of home occupation standards, that really worked well if you were cutting hair in the breezeway of your 1960s ranch. That's kind of what that was designed for. A lot more often now, we're seeing this kind of a home occupation request for variance, and we are looking at updating our standards to be more accommodating. Variance number 2, signs. Typically, we do not allow signage in connection with home occupations. I've included a lot of the special exception decision criteria that you can look at here. You really can look at what would make this particular home occupation use and the connected variances more fitting for this neighborhood and the particular situation that it's in and that the petitioners are trying to enact here. I'll let them speak more about their business. Our staff recommendation is approval with a number of conditions. First, that the petitioner shall seek and obtain an annual occupancy permit for the home occupation. I'm sorry, this is probably just for the, this is just for the special exception. We'll go on to the variances. For the special exception, it is to approve with conditions that the petitioner shall seek and obtain annual occupancy permits for the home occupation prior to commencement of the business at this location. The permit shall be sought and obtained within 12 months of the above date, or the approval will automatically expire. 2, the special exception shall become null and void if the business ceases operations for 12 consecutive months or longer. 3, the home occupation shall be open to the public no more than 12 times per calendar year, but I believe this was, hold on, you guys. I'm looking at a PDF, by the way. I think, let me just make sure the version you've got, this might not have been saved. Hold on. Yep. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm looking at an old copy. There was some back and forth with the petitioner, and we did edit the staff report to read 24 days per calendar year.
In our printed copies, it says 24 days.
Perfect. Yes, there we go. This is the correct version. Okay. The special exception shall run with the petitioner and shall not be transferable to any owner or entity, any other owner or entity. A building permit and or improvement location permit relating to the special exception must be obtained within 12 months of the above approval date. An occupancy permit must be obtained within 12 months of the approval of the permit, or the special exception will automatically expire. And 6, the BZA reserves the right to modify or revoke the special exception at a public hearing if it determines that the home occupation constitutes a public nuisance. Once again, we've gone through in the following sections. Now we're in the variance considerations. So the decision criteria to have is the same, once again, very similar, to have that home occupation occur in the accessory structure. A variance is a little bit more serious of a allowance to give a property, of course. However, there are ways that we can modify our approval to make sure that it runs very much with this special exception and does not apply to other things. The staff recommendation for the variance to run outside of the home and in an accessory building is to approve with condition that the home occupation shall not expand without the approval of the BZA. The variance granted herein shall run with the property but shall only remain so long as the special exception. The BZA reserves the right to modify or revoke the special exception at a public hearing. If it determines that the home occupation constitutes a public nuisance, once again, and a building permit or improvement location permit relating to this special exception shall be obtained within 12 months, or the special exception shall automatically expire. There's also a site plan that is in your documents that we didn't look at, but it shows the building that the Stevens family is looking at building. Most of it is larger than it's a little larger of a barn, obviously, but most of it will actually be used for their personal storage. So it is a personal accessory building in addition to the home occupation. Okay. All right, and finally, the variance for signage. Once again, to put it simply, home occupations in our code don't allow for signage. We have looked at some conditions if the board chooses to approve this, such as the home occupation shall not exceed a maximum of 32 square feet in area. The variance shall run with the property but shall only remain so long as the special exception remains active, and the petitioner shall once again seek and obtain an improvement location permit prior to the commencement of business at this location. The permit will be sought and obtained within 12 months, or it will expire. So I'm going to go ahead and let the petitioner take the seat up here. Other items you could consider with the sign permit, for example, would be say, well, we are only okay with it being a wall sign, or we're only okay with it being this big if it's a monument sign out by the road. These are the kinds of things that you can look at, also putting some conditions on if you feel like it. Okay. Do you have any questions for me before I turn it over?
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the reasoning behind not letting a home occupation happen?
The idea is that home occupations are largely supposed to remain very residential in feel, but different communities allow for different sorts of signage. Here we say no signage at all. That's what our code reads. But other communities might say something like, well, you can put a 12 by, like a 1 foot by 1 foot placard up by your front door. Or you can have a yard card out or something, like a little, yard sign out or something like that. Different communities have different standards. That's simply how our code reads. I'm not totally sure, but I think keeping that residential nature was really the primary concern when no signage was made the rule.
And there's really no intention to change that in the UDO, I don't think, is there? We didn't really discuss it at all.
I couldn't say for sure.
Yeah, I didn't see it in there. So,
Are there other home occupations in the immediate area with or without signage?
We'll let you have that conversation with the Stevens family.
Great, thank you.
all good? All right, petitioner available to come up? We ask that you raise your right hand and swear your life away to
Do you
Ms.
swear or
Cook.
affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please state your name and spell your last name for the record.
Terry Stevens, Stephens.
Okay, and you have 7 minutes.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your time this evening. Just to give you a background on how we got to this point, my wife and I decided that we wanted to build a pole barn. Our attached garage was no longer doing it. We've outgrown it. So we thought now was the perfect time to do it. And we were in the process of designing our barn. We started talking about incorporating a designated space within our barn for our hobby, which is to flip furniture, home decor. We like to make handmade wooden seasonal decorations, that kind of stuff. So we were trying to find a place to put that within our barn. Most of our business has been done on Marketplace, but we truly believe that a picture doesn't do justice for some of these items. You know, you can't tell the true color sometimes, how well a piece of furniture, for example, is put together, how the weight of it, all that kind of stuff. A picture doesn't do that justice. So we just wanted to have a place where people could come out and kind of kick the tires, as they say, in our barn. So we've been in a vendor mall before. They were open 7 days a week. The problem with that is, you know, we were paying rent, so you have this added pressure of feeling like you have to have that booth full 7 days a week. And so that turned into a full-time job. It lost its hobby feel, which what we wanted it to be. So we decided we wanted to do this so we could go as slow as we wanted to go. So if we feel like we don't want to be open, we're not going to be open. So we just wanted to keep this as a hobby is the reason why we got away from the vendor mall. We also talked about we want this to do this the right way. We wanted to make sure that our neighbors were aware of our intentions, because that's only fair to them. You know, I've talked to when we decided we want to do it the right way and talk to the neighbors. We talked to the planning department, and you know, they kind of the ladies gave us, here's the path that you need to take. So we got approved through the state first, and then we followed the checklist for the county. And so our notices went out to all of our neighbors, and when I went and talked to the neighbors, I wanted to make sure they knew what the details were of the business, what we were planning on doing. In our paperwork, there is a form that we've got majority of our neighbors to sign. I got everyone on my road to sign that. They're very supportive. They're actually kind of excited about what we're to offer when I told them what the details were. The details that we're looking for in this business, hopefully, is we will never be open Monday through Thursday. As I said before, you know, we have full-time jobs. We don't want this to be a full-time job. So we'll never be open Monday through Thursday, and we're asking to be open at most 24 days out of the year. I'm a math guy, so that's roughly 6% out of the calendar year is all we're asking to be open. When I explain this to our neighbors, I'm like, you think of it as it's not going to be any more than if someone were to have a garage sale. That basically that many times out of the year. And to put it into perspective, as you guys, I'm sure you know, Hancock County allows a person to have 30 days worth of garage sale per year. So that's kind of how we got to this point.
Couple questions.
Yes.
Is there any waste that's generated if you're refurbishing, or is it like you're restaining? There's in mass, you're building. Give me a little nothing that you're handling for waste.
No, so typically what I'll do is, like you said, I'll take one piece of furniture, I'll pull it outside, I'll sand it if needed sand. What we like to do with our furniture is we want it to give a new but old look. So we'll put a coat of paint over it, then we distress it. So we make it look old. So we don't put polyurethane. We just use water-based paints, all we use on it. So there's really no waste involved with this.
Would you say that you would be constructing this in substantial conformance with the documents presented substantially?
It's pretty close. I will say one thing I couldn't do is we're going to have there's going to be a little bit of a kick out on the front in the middle, which I couldn't get the program to do that.
Okay.
But other than that little bitty kick out, like a 4-foot kick out, it's pretty much what it's going to look like.
And what was the state level approvals you needed? What were the state approvals?
It was all the paperwork we had to do since we're actually wanting people to come in, basically saying it's going to be a safe environment, the distance from our farthest point in the shop to the front door, all that kind of stuff. What kind of electricity, we had to give them like our electricity layout, the stuff the county's going to be asking too for is like our pole designs, how far the footers, all that kind of stuff.
And would you say that the purpose of the sign is to attract new clients that are from the public driving by, or for people who are going there just to say, here it is?
Honestly, the sign means we could care less about the sign, to be honest with you. It was one of those things we wanted to be on the docket in case we decided we want to have a sign, because we knew we couldn't go back and do it later. So the sign means nothing. It really does. It's just one of those things where, hey, somebody comes up, yeah, it's a pretty cool sign. We like it. No, we're not trying to attract any. We're going to be so far off the road, you're not going to be set from the road anyway. And the sign was going to be, if we did have a sign, it was just going to be like right on the front porch.
On the new structure?
Yes, the new structure.
Ah, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, it wasn't going to be out by the road
No.
then? Okay. Yeah, I was assuming that you needed the sign because the parcel's pretty large and you're kind
Yeah.
of out in the country and you want people to be able, if they're deliberately coming to your place
Right.
to know where it is, so.
Yeah, we're just
okay.
hoping at that point they know how to find our address, so.
Google map,
Yeah, yeah.
I just have two more questions, and I'll turn it back over. Are there any other home occupations in the area?
I could think of one we're on 200 South. 100 South, now it's agricultural, but it's Cherry Farms. So they do have a sign out there, and I think they have customers that come to their business as well. And I think that's the only one I can think of.
Sometimes my last question, sometimes when we hear testimony that you would be willing to limit the visit of those 24 days to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we put it into our conditions. Would that be acceptable to you?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have zero interest to be open during the week. The only reason why we pick Friday is because, sometimes you get around a holiday and, it's like a long weekend or something like that. So we just want to have the option of doing a combination of a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or it's usually just going to be Saturday, Sunday.
Those are my questions.
Yeah, I was curious, so the new barn is about 2,400 square feet total. How much of that is like workshop and how much of that is where the public would be? Or would they mill throughout your entire shop looking at your stuff then?
No, so about 1/3, I would say. So if you picture that middle strip is going
Yeah.
to be the shop itself or the
Okay.
store itself. My parents live across the street. That's where I do my work. So across the
okay.
street. So
Okay.
really not going to be a whole lot of shop stuff happening in that barn. I want to use it for parking my vehicles, my lawnmower, tools, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Give me just a second. So the consent letter that you had, it's a nice packet, by the way, but the consent letter doesn't mention the signage, but were they aware of the signage when they?
I didn't mention the sign to them. I
Okay.
did not.
Okay.
Nope, never came up.
Okay. And then I was also a little curious. So the site plan of the barn looks slightly different to me than the rendering. So is this like the long side or something?
Yeah,
or-
so if you were to look at, that it would be perpendicular with 200 South, the way the barn's running.
Okay.
I'm sorry, parallel, not perpendicular. It'd be running parallel with 200 South. So
Oh, I see. The 62-foot dimension. I got it now. I
Yeah.
see that. Yeah. Yeah. So it'll look like
the
that.
shape on there may not be the best proportion.
Yeah. So the sign. You're thinking the sign would be like somewhere in here.
Yeah, somewhere right there on that, I'm going to call that the front porch area. So now the one thing I couldn't do either is that little gable on the front is going to be cedar. So that's going to be open. So it'll be open cedar. So I even thought about
Oh, might
putting
put
a
it up.
sign like on a cedar beam or something like that. Nothing, too extravagant. Because, to be honest with you, it's going to be a $100,000 barn and I'm not going to put some big gaudy sign on it. So
Yeah.
it's just going to be something that we're proud of, I guess.
Yeah.
Pride, I guess.
You're probably catching our drift that signage is a sticking point.
Yeah, and honestly, the sign that is not a make or break for
I
us.
kind of like it because if somebody's found their way to this long driveway
Yeah.
you have, then they know they've
Yeah.
made it, right?
If you
So when
like
they
it,
get
we
into
love
the
it.
driveway, it helps
So-
to control some of that traffic
Yes.
situation. So then when people do get there, then they're going to drive around the back to the parking in the.
So there will be
on the-
parking in the front, so they're more than welcome to park in the front.
Okay.
But if it's one of those, if we need any overflow. So the reason why I have that in the back is because I will have a bay door on the back for me, for my lawnmower and stuff to get in and out. So I'm going to have it gravelled anyway. So I'm going to have that back there. So I just put it as there's extra parking if needed.
Okay. And it's just a shell barn with heat.
Yes.
Yeah, no plumbing or anything like
Nope.
that. And-
Nope.
Okay.
And your direct neighbor, the one that you have a shared drive with, is on the letter of endorsement?
Yeah,
That-
he is the one that has the separate letter. So he
Got it.
wrote that's the actual letter. Then all the other neighbors are on that form that we
Got it.
created just to make it simple for everyone.
Thank you.
More questions? You guys good? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have anybody that would like to speak in opposition of these variance special exception? Sure, come on up. Both of you want to speak?
Go first.
Okay. So we have 7 minutes, it'll be collective, so, okay.
Joe Jones, Jone. Oh, sorry.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Joe Jones, Jones. I live directly behind it, where he's at. I'm at 6242. And we've been there 15 years. And me personally, if we let one person start businesses out there in the country, that's where I moved. I moved from the city out there to get away from the businesses. I've owned my own business for 40 years, and I don't want to be around businesses. So, of course, I'm retired now. Tyner Farms, of course, has been there forever, but that's a farm. Everybody's out there with a farm, cows and all that. I think this is a little bit more different than a farmer than doing business out of his thing. Nothing against him, but that's why I moved out here. Then the public's going to be out there. I've got grandkids that lives with us. That's going to, that I don't care. I'm not that afraid of them right now going anywhere. But when they go back at the property, we have trails back there. I'm going to wonder if somebody's going to come back. I know anybody can, but is there going to be more public, out there? So, and the sign thing, that's just another thing. More people bringing more business out there. So what's next after this? Are we going to do, whatever, meat, more, whatever. I don't know what else they would bring. So if we agree to this, people that likes the country, we're adding businesses to it. I don't think so. I don't like it. Mm-hmm. I don't mind nobody bettering themselves, but it needs to be at a commercial place already. I know he's trying to get away from rent. Like I said, I've done it for all my life, own my own business. That's why I built my own place in Indianapolis, to get away from rent. But now, I know what he's trying to do, and I agree. But I disagree why I moved to the country. Now I'm going to be dealing with the public or a business right behind me.
Yeah, okay. All good points. One thing that we do with these cases specifically, and it's a condition on each of the variances and I believe the special exception, or proposed condition. We haven't agreed to those just yet, but it's that this board can revoke the variances and can revoke the special exceptions if there becomes a nuisance. So if you start to experience a lot of trouble, or you feel like your way of life has changed significantly, you can appeal to the office. You can make a.
Before I did that, I just moved.
I don't like
causing people problems. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like causing problems.
Yeah.
But that's why I've met the guy. He came to my house and I was up front with him, and I'm not the type of person that will fight you. And I had attorneys and all that with my trucking company and all that. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I would sell my property and head farther east.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to do that, but what's the next business? I mean, and who's going to monitor him from how much people or how much time he's going to be open? I mean, he's going to do all that. I wouldn't call in on him because I don't like starting problems with neighbors. I don't. That's why I moved out there.
Yeah.
Instead of
I
moving
understand.
and living in town and everybody else complaining because you are doing something wrong, or parking your RV in front of your house and when you're not allowed to, the load up go,
Yeah.
And I had that problem, so that's why I moved out in the country.
Okay.
But that's where I'm coming from.
Okay.
I do have one question. Sometimes we have, I mean, instead of a binary yes or no, we have the ability to put conditions on that could be acceptable to neighbors. Is there anything in what you've heard in the conditions that we could tweak to make this, outside of the binary yes or no? Perhaps it's sometime in the no more than X calendar days per year. Is there anything in there that could make this, that which if you would have seen, like, oh, okay, I can deal with that? Just a question, you don't have to answer.
No, I don't mind. Really and truly, I had to talk to my wife. She had surgery a week ago, 7-hour surgery.
Oh.
She couldn't make it.
Okay.
Doctor wouldn't even. I'd have to talk to her.
Sure.
To
Thank
make
you.
sure we're on the same page.
Got it.
We've been together, 45 years. So, but I mean, so I called and said, hey, I don't mind talking to somebody. Mm-hmm. But she couldn't be here. She wanted to be, but the doctors today told her, stay home.
Okay. All right.
Sorry about that.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Anything else? All right. Thank you very much for coming up. We had one other.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
State your name, spell your last name.
Justin Rogers, Rogers. I live 3 houses east of Joe, on 250, 6458. And ours tees on both ends of the road. So we have a lot of freedom with our kids out there. And there are young kids at every single house almost, but I think maybe 2. And they all like to walk down and see the deer across the street. Lady has fenced in deer on like 50 acres. They're real nice. You can go down there and fish under the bridge and everything. So we let our young kids kind of just be kids out in the country the way you're supposed to. And then you notice that whenever there's a stop or a wreck or something at 300, right where the 4-way is, they reroute everyone onto our road, and then it's just chaos. People are going like 60 miles an hour through where you don't go there unless you live there or you got invited out there on our road. And it just gets out of control. People are throwing trash and everything in your yard, and you know when that happened. And then it just, I don't know, we moved there and found that house just because of where it's at. And I would hate to see on a weekend, if they're open on the weekends, that there's just wild traffic going around when we're out there, because we all bought that area to let our kids grow up not in that kind of area. And then we would automatically have to go and start cutting back all the tree lines so you can see, and it would get out of control. I don't mind even having a business at his house and everything, but I think just the full-on traffic on weekends is just kind of taken away from all of our weekends on the next road over if everyone just is driving around. Because once you're out there in the country, if you're from the city, you're going to like, well, let's hit this country block and see what it's all like. Well, we all have really nice houses, and we don't want anyone out there. That's all I really have. It's just,
All right.
I wish him the best of luck with it, though. I own my own small company, and
Yeah.
got to do what you got to do, but
Thank you.
I want it out there.
Any questions? No? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do we have any government officials want to speak? We never do. No, we have had that before. So we have Mr. Stevens. You would have some rebuttal time if you'd like. 2 minutes. I'm sorry, 3 minutes of rebuttal time.
Mr. Rogers, I think, was the second person. He wasn't on our list of stuff to mail out, so I didn't get a chance to talk to him coming out. The one thing I want to make clear is he's on 250, we're on 200. So I'm assuming majority of the people come to see us will be coming from the 40, coming down south of 600, and not even making it to 250, I guess would be my rebuttal to that. So, I mean, I appreciate everything he has to say, but that would be, my rebuttal back to that, so. Now, Mr. Jones, I did go over and talk to him, and the concern that he told me when we were talking about it is, his grandkids driving back in the paths through the woods. And then I explained to him, I'm like, well, he was worried about strangers coming to our house. I was like, if I have a garage sale, strangers come to my house. The Amazon man, the FedEx man, they're all strangers coming to our houses. And the people that we expect to come to this it's pretty narrow. We're expecting probably 30 to 50-year-old women is who we're expecting most of our customers to be. I do have a picture. Now, Mr. Jones, we are back-to-back neighbors, so his drive comes off on 250. So this picture is an aerial of.
If that wasn't in the packet,
Yeah,
we
no.
can't look at it.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
sorry.
sorry about that.
So anyway, there is about 900 feet of woods thick woods between the back of our properties. I own about 10 to 12 feet, I can't remember, into those woods. So I do have a tree buffer there naturally already. I've lived here for 25 years, and I'm not saying that his grandkids don't go back there, because that's definitely not what I'm saying, but I've never seen them looking through my woods because of how thick the woods are.
What's the anticipated number of people you're expecting?
I tell people it would be the same as, we really don't know, but I would expect, if you advertise as a garage sale, you really don't know how many people are coming out. So we're hoping to average 5 people an hour, I guess, if I were to give you a number.
So this is going to operate much like a garage sale. You're going to advertise kind of like
The weekend that we're open, yeah.
That it's a sort of like you're advertising a garage sale, right?
Basically, yes.
Okay.
Where will you advertise?
What's that?
Where will you advertise?
Probably just social media.
Okay. No, like signs in yard, like in the
No.
churn sign? You're not going to put little temporary signs up for
No.
churn here for?
No. Nope. So again, it's basically here's our address if you want to come out, and then with today's technology, they should be able to find us.
You said 500 per what, per year? 500 people per year?
No, I said hopefully about 5 per hour
5 per hour.
is what we're hoping. We'd be happy with that, I think.
And hours of?
I would probably would be open 10 to 5, 10 to 4, somewhere around that range. Maybe a little less on a Sunday. Probably more of a 12 to 4, 12 to 5.
When you were in the peddler's barn, did you advertise on social media? Were you seeing those kind of numbers coming through?
Your mic up a little.
Yeah, I'm
so
sorry,
I think they
couldn't
can hear you.
I said on the peddler's barn, did you advertise on social media there, and were you seeing
Yes.
those kind of numbers coming through there?
Well, the thing of it is because we were in that mall, they did most of the advertising. So they would send stuff out and we would just share it. Like, hey, if you like this piece of furniture, go to Logan Village Mall to take a look at it, that kind of thing. So it was just to help advertise for all of the booths. So, but we were never there. They're in downtown Noblesville, so we're assuming the traffic was pretty steady. But of course, there were 50 shops in there.
So you always intended to be open to the public with retail sales? Was always the intent for the home occupation?
Yes.
Okay, and just another question, the 24 days per calendar year, you'll be open that's half the year, or you're doing like once per month, Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
So we'll probably prep for like fall's we'll probably be open a couple times pre-fall, a couple weekends pre-fall, a couple times maybe a couple weekends, like one weekend before fall, one week in the middle of fall to catch the Halloween people who are wanting to buy Halloween items, that kind of thing. And then around Christmas, and then spring, summertime, stuff like that. So yeah, it'll be a weekend just here and there.
So Thursday, Friday, Saturday for 8 weekends in a year?
Not Thursday. No
Okay.
Thursdays.
No Thursday. So Friday,
Thursdays.
Saturday, Sunday, 8 weekends and.
I don't know if it's going to be 8 weekends. So for example, it might be like one weekend we might be open 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then, a few weeks later, a month later, we may be open just a Saturday and Sunday, something along those lines. So we haven't really decided for sure which particular weekends we're planning on being open, but they will be centered around, like I said, fall's a big one. So we'll probably be open in September, and then October, and then probably in November, and of course, in December, for sure. And then we'll probably close January and February, if I were to guess, because there's no really holidays around January, February to plan for. And then we'll start be open around Easter, and then get close to 4th of July kind of a stuff.
So I forgot to ask you before. I was a little curious about what did you have to do with the state? I wasn't following that. Was that Homeland Security? Was that for the building itself?
Yeah. I mean, the paperwork was crazy that we had to fill out for the state. It was basically saying, oh, you're having people come in, the building's got to be safe for them to come in. Like, we had to show them where electrical layout would be. We had to show them the farthest point from to the front door from in there, evacuation wise, safety wise. We had to show them the structure itself, the trusses, how we had to send the report on the trusses. We had to send a drawing of the posts, how they would be in the ground, how they'd be secured, all that kind of stuff, what our flooring would be, what our walls would be, what we'd use to hold our walls together, you name it. We had to send it to the state.
Who sent you to the state? Your builder?
No, the inspector in the building.
Oh, so Scott wanted you to go through the whole commercial building situation.
Yes.
Then. Okay.
Yep.
So he's treating it like a commercial building. Do you have a business license? Or are you like an LLC or something?
We're going to be.
Oh, you're going to be.
Yeah, we're going to be just to be on the safe side. Yeah, to protect ourselves. So.
Is he going to require you to have a bathroom in there then? Since he's.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because I mean, there's a lot of businesses don't. Because we're
got,
not serving food or anything like that.
But you did get the approval from the state. It's probably called.
We sent it to the county.
It's probably called a design release. Is that?
Yeah, it was like 4 different things that we had to get approved on. But when I say 4 different things, it was actually about 1,000 different things. But that was broken up into 4 parts.
And it's for the equivalent of a commercial building.
Yeah, even though we told them it was we're just wanting a piece of it, but.
Yeah, everything he described right there was a commercial building application.
How many cars do you think even go down 200 South? I would think if you're talking 5 times an hour, that's like 35 cars an hour. I don't even know if 35 cars go down the road normally on a given day.
On 200?
Down 200 South.
No, probably not. The reason why, because we have that S curve.
Right, a real sharp S curve.
Yeah,
right there.
so if you, like, for example, if people are trying to get to past us, they will turn on 100 South first, and then go around so they avoid that S curve.
Right.
Because the S curve, even though it's small, makes people feel like they're going backwards. So. Yeah, so I don't know if we were supposed to do it because, again, this building is for personal use, but we just did what we were supposed to, and it was not fun. It was
expensive too, wasn't it?
It wasn't. Well, not compared to what this has been. So, so it cost us a few $100s.
One of the cheapest counties in the state.
Yeah, well, I'm just comparing you to what the state said. So, what the state charges.
So we had one. Yours is a little different. We had one of these a few months ago that was on a busy road. And we made a condition that they contact the sheriff's department on the days of their sales. Is that something that you could do if we put a condition like that? I doubt they do it, but it's an email, I think, or just call the non-emergency line or something and say there's going to be a sale at your address, and
not a problem whatsoever.
They just put it on the. The police have like a little alert in their cars. I think they just know that there's more activity out there that day.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a problem whatsoever.
Okay.
If we removed the open to the public component, what's your result?
We wouldn't do it.
And I just have a question for Rhonda. When we did this a couple of months ago, we had some pretty severe limitations on use. Can we look that up?
That one was on was a very congested area.
The bike? Was it the bike? Yeah.
And there was no good place for people to really get off the road and everything. So I think we had a bunch of weird things, or not weird things, but a lot of things about keeping the products behind the house was one. And so that the cars would be in the driveway.
I think They were having trouble with people out of the road.
Yeah, causing a real
I
hazard,
think more
yeah.
the issue is, though, how many days did we say it could be open? Could because of the traffic. Can we look that up, what the conditions were?
Theirs was,
I don't have that. Dennis would probably have it, a previous certification.
Oh, gosh.
he's nodding his head, yes, he's going for it, I think.
That road does not get a whole lot of traffic at all. Oh,
Yeah, and-
right. It probably doesn't have
Yeah,
20
we're,
cars down it all day.
and coming off of 600, we're actually the second house on the right. The first house would be my brother, who is the shared driveway. So once they get off 600, they don't have to go very far.
Yeah.
And we've got plenty of, we're well off the road, so we're not going to be anywhere close to people having to be at the edge of the road.
No, I mean, that was just the,
Yeah.
that was the
Yeah.
situation with the last one that we're talking about.
I think it was the March 27th meeting.
See if I
Might
have
have
it.
been the given case.
That sounds
Got it.
right.
First agenda item of the day. I was just asking what types of timeframes we put in place.
You're going to probably have to look at the certification rather than the staff report, if that makes sense.
Sorry to hang you up here a little bit. We'll find that
Oh.
information.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, no worries, no worries. And one other thing do I still have time to rebuttal one thing that Mr. Jones?
Yeah, you're still on time. Yeah.
Is, he had mentioned something about, well, if we give you this much, then how many more days is he going to be open? If I wanted to do that, I wouldn't have done it the right way. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be standing here tonight. I would just say, hey, let's be open, and, we wanted to do this the right way. It's like, this is the amount of days that we would like to be open, and we don't want to do more than that.
Yeah.
We're not going to take the chance of messing up. This has been a lot of work to get this point. So.
Yeah. Most variances, specifically home occupations, it's kind of a community policing type situation, that's why we put the ability to revoke it. So
Right.
if somebody's really put off by the whole situation, they can file a complaint, and then Dennis will investigate it and decide if it needs to be revoked or not, or if we need to tweak the conditions or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, so it usually works out okay, but
So you imposed a condition with the language to limit sales to 10 times per year on Saturdays only between May 1st to September 30th.
10 a year.
We limited advertising as well to online, Facebook only. Discussed it, I'm not sure if that was in a condition.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So, was no street parking allowed. Sign shall be placed by road on day of sale, and petitioner must require vehicles to be immediately if customer does not comply.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, 24 to 10 days, that's a big difference, just to. What would you 10 days, is that something not worth it?
No, I mean, if I were to think the other way, it's like, well, let's not even do a business. I mean, I'll just do my barn, and then it's like if I have just garage sales, I get 30 days. You know what I mean? So that would be my advertise as a garage sale and not have a designated area.
I'm not sure you can have 30 days of garage sales. I'm going to look that up.
Well,
I wouldn't.
I think that's
You can-
right. I think it's a total.
oh, yeah, no. No, but no, what I'm saying, I'm just saying, it's like 10 days. It's going to be a lot of work for 10 days.
It's,
Does that make
it's like
sense? But
a
yeah, no, we wouldn't. Definitely
maximum
wouldn't do
number of
that.
weekends for a collective total of some days.
If we look that up on that same case, how many days they could have garage sales?
Yeah.
I think, because I looked it up on the website for the county, and it said you could be open, I think, pretty sure it said a total of 30 days. I'm like 99% sure it said a total of 30 days.
Did you say what your hours were going to be?
I would say, if I were to guess, we haven't got that far yet, but it's 10 to 5 at the latest. And on Sunday, it would probably be less than that, 12 to 4, 12 to 5, at, somewhere around there, if I were to guess. Your typical, like a lot of places that sell the stuff that we're wanting to sell, that's the norm, the hours, I would think.
It's in a weird spot, Rhonda. It's not in the,
There's some language in the ordinance that might be insightful. So, states garage yard sales permitted to occur 4 times per calendar year for a maximum of 30 days per calendar year.
Four.
Sale,
4 sales a year, 30 total days, yeah.
I can find Fortville, McCordsville. They allow 3.
Temporary uses, I think, 156.063.
Yeah, because I saw a bunch for like particular corporate, but us being out in the country unincorporated, that's where I saw the 30 days.
And what we're hearing from unincorporated county, that's the ordinance for unincorporated county, 4 times a year, 30 days in aggregate.
Yeah, that's right. It's,
So, I mean, yeah, so if you do that, that's 7 or 8 days in a row that you could, and we don't want to do that many days in a row. Like I said, we just want to break it up we want it to fit more seasonal, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because nobody wants to buy any seasonal stuff in January and February because they don't decorate for nothing until you start getting towards spring.
did you find it, Rhonda? It's 156.063.
063, yeah.
And it's down at I think it's B.
Garage yard sales are permitted to occur 4 times per calendar year for a maximum of 30 days. That's exactly, I think, what he is reading. Garage yard sales shall be distinguished from flea markets in that garage yard sales are clearly incidental to residential uses, while flea markets are commercial businesses and primary uses. In no instance shall this provision be interpreted as permitting the operation of a flea market.
Consider yourself a flea market?
Where were you before? It was you're moving it from a different establishment?
Well, we haven't been up there for a while. So it was in Noblesville, it's Logan Village Mall. It's a vendor mall up there. We had a booth.
Do we have anybody monitoring these garage sales to say that 4 times a year?
Neighbors.
Neighbors do, for
Neighbors,
sure.
Neighbors.
Better than garage sale material, so.
So he could, or anybody could, build furniture, do whatever you want, call it a garage sale, sell it, and had 30 days total to do it.
4 times a year. Total,
Okay.
yeah.
Who's monitoring that? Other than your neighbor? Is there anybody going to check that?
Based on
I'm not going to check
complaints.
it. You going to check it?
My car doesn't go that far. I don't go that far out east. Can't make
You
it.
do have a LLC right now.
We haven't got that far, but yes, we absolutely we plan on.
So in the last case, we required them to, we couldn't grant a home business unless they had a business.
Yeah.
So it was, you're asking for a home occupation, a business in a home, but you're coming here without a business right now.
Right. Well, hang on.
Well, we can make that a condition, right? But before he gets the permit, he's got to have the LLC.
We made them come back with a business before they applied. In the last case, they went and got a business, set up their business.
Yeah, my wife works for a law firm, so that's an easy part for us. So But we've already talked about that, it's like, we're just doing it step by step to,
Because there's like sales tax remission.
yeah, and yeah, so for example, we were at Logan Village Mall. We had our sales tax and all that. We did all that to say that we, paid in our sales tax and all that. So we've done all that before.
Like the mall would collect it for you.
Correct.
Like
Yes. Yes. And then we'd have filled paperwork that we actually collected no sales tax from the customers because it was done through there. So yeah, all of that we'll be doing for this, so we can pay taxes on it. Yeah, that's why when I say we want to do it the right way, that's what I'm talking about. Is we want this to be legitimate. We'll pay our taxes the way that we're supposed to. But we're just doing this step by step. It was kind of like, well, if we can't get approved for it, do we want to spend the money to being?
It's a pretty significant difference between 10 days that we've approved in the past and on a really busy road already than 24. So is there another time frame that would occur to you that might be a little easier to consider?
Well, are you saying that our roads were busy? Is that what you were saying?
We did 10 days, and it was already a busy road, meaning the increased traffic wouldn't be that noticed. This would be heavily noticed over, 10 to 5 cars an hour, 3 days. That's it's noticed. So that happening 24 days per year when we limited another shop, someone else with that much traffic, it's a pretty big spread, 10 to 24.
Yeah.
And 24 is the lowest that you would be able to justify?
Well, no, I'm not sure. Like I said, it takes a lot of work for us to get it, so to get ready and to put all this time into it. It's like, 10 days, for example, that's way more work than what it's actually worth. The way we came up with the 24 was based off of, weekends, like one weekend a month. Every once in a while, it might be 2 weekends a month, depending on how close we are to a holiday, because of the stuff that we want to sell for decorating for that holiday, that kind of a thing. And then, like I said, then there'll be gaps where we won't have anybody at all because we won't even be open.
You were just going to build the barn for yourself, and you decide not to do the business. Would you have to go through the commercial building procedure?
No.
You would just be able to build your pole barn.
Yeah.
I'm trying to still figure out what was the necessity for that.
See, I don't know if he thought that the building was solely for that, because I actually didn't talk to, I can't remember if he was in the meeting or not. I can't remember if he was in the meeting, but I talked to him very briefly about, hey, it was through email. I believe we started talking through email, and he sent me the link to, you want to go through the state, because I don't think he was in the meeting that when I talked with the ladies about what we were trying to do. So we just followed the link and did that. So
the reason I think we're asking a lot of questions is a home occupation for purposes of directed customers who are purposely going for one thing only, who are there for a time frame, and you can only have one limit. That's usually what we have.
Right.
This is home occupation for open to the public.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a different standard of care.
Sure.
That's why.
Right. No, I appreciate you guys doing your job. Absolutely. Absolutely.
The one we keep referencing, the bicycle group, that was a retroactive situation. It came to us under some complaints.
It did.
And I think that, unfortunately, I have a new notebook here, so my notes on that are at home. But
You're very
I was thinking that maybe I don't remember how we arrived at the 10. I was thinking that it was how often they actually did it.
They were requesting.
I think that we just took it,
They
but
said they were only going to be open during the warm months.
that's right. They didn't open in the winter at all. That's right. Yeah. So it was pretty condensed, I suppose. But.
They only did it on one day.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Any more questions for him? No? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what we have is the special exception, And we have the two variances. So I'd probably suggest that we vote on the special exception prior to the variances, because if the special exception fails, then the variances are not needed. The conditions under discussion for the special exception were on the third page, third piece of paper type page. The petitioner shall seek and obtain annual occupancy permits, special exception to be called null and void if business ceases operations for 12 months. Home occupation shall be open to the public not more than 24 days per calendar year. Special exception shall run with the petitioner, not transferred. Building permit, improvement location permit, et cetera, within 12 months. And then BZA reserves the right to revoke. I would probably suggest adding, not that it's a big deal, but adding that notification to public safety officials.
Kayla, can I ask you one question? On the original staff report, you had listed 12. Where did you come up with the number 12 and then you went to 24? Was that?
To be honest, Maria came up with the number 12, but I believe that was just a starting point. We were simply thinking
That's not,
maybe,
you didn't find that number somewhere?
no, I believe we were thinking we need to cap this somewhere, and starting with like one time or one weekend a month seemed like a good place to start the conversation, and that opened the dialogue with Mr. Stevens about this.
Can you read the flea market language again for me? Was that in the garage sale?
Yeah.
Okay.
156.063, temporary uses and structure standards. That's in B4. No, I'm sorry. C1, garage yard sales. Garage yard sales are permitted to occur 4 times per calendar year for a maximum of 30 days per calendar year. Garage yard sales shall be distinguished from flea markets in that garage yard sales are clearly incidental to residential uses, while flea markets are commercial businesses and primary uses. In no instance shall this provision be interpreted as permitting the operation of a flea market.
And our provisions within the county for a home occupation allow for the commercial-facing business. That's the.
Yeah.
We just look at and then I'll give you some maybe.
Yeah, home
Well, I was
occupation.
also going to say, you know, back to the garage sale component, not to keep hanging up on that, but he was saying when he is open on a weekend that he is open, that's 3 days, right? So this is 8 times a year, 8 weekends, right, out of the year that this would happen potentially, maximum.
I asked that, and no, the answer was
Oh, that's right. Maybe
that.
a day here and there. Okay.
ask that.
Okay.
Under home occupation standards, activities says the face-to-face wholesale retail sale of stocked inventories is not permitted except for incidental sales that do not exceed 25% of total home occupation sales. Mail order, telephone, internet sales, as well as distribution of sold merchandise is permitted. Manufacturing activities are not permitted.
Manufacturing is not permitted.
Also, face-to-face wholesale retail sale of stocked inventories is not permitted,
It's 25% of the total.
except for incidental sales, which is garage sales, that do not exceed 25% of total home occupation sales. Was any of that vetted with petitioner beforehand? The nature of the business and the existing ordinances on their activities?
We did not look so much at that particular piece. mainly because these are, in our mind, didn't fit the modern, present-day idea of what a manufacturing use is. Refurbishing antique furniture. If I had to look on our use chart, we might honestly call this more of an antique shop than anything. A custom furniture thing.
Well, and the manufacturing per se is not happening in this barn. It's happening across the street.
I thought it was happening here. I thought they were,
This is the sale barn. So he was building the stuff in at the barn across the street, his family's barn.
no manufacturing is happening here
Correct.
in this barn.
That was my understanding, yeah.
Is that right? No? Yes?
So it's home woodworking
So-
shop basically across the street, and then this is just
So-
sales. So.
He almost needs a home occupation for his woodworking shop if he's manufacturing things for sale. I'm reading here, effects of operation under home occupation. There shall be no equipment or process used in the home occupation that creates noise, vibration, glare, smoke, fumes, odors, or electrical interference that is detectable without the aid of instruments off the premises as determined by the planning director. There shall be no electrical or mechanical equipment utilized in the home occupation that will create any visual or audible interference with radio or television reception.
I believe that means would be a noise violation, right? Or something that would be audible across property
You may want to
lines.
continue, I don't know,
Yeah, we don't have a noise ordinance to
getting a little,
hang a hat on, so.
The 25% is more concerning than the manufacturing. The sole purpose is to move the business and sales to these events, which is more than incidental.
purpose of these home occupation standards is to establish minimum requirements for home-based businesses in order to protect the residential character of Hancock County's residential areas, preserve property values, and prevent the hazards to persons and property that can result from residential commercial land use conflicts.
I guess I'd have to review some of the definitions, I guess, but
Might be worth it to continue.
yeah, I was
if
going to
you
say,
like.
because woodworking doesn't feel like it fits manufacturing per se, unless it was, I'm going to build 100 of this one decoration and have a stock of it that's for sale, but.
That's not even before us. I mean, that's a different issue. Really, it's what's been presented to us, which is the retail sales farm.
That's true, yeah.
I'm just going to ignore the manufacturing.
Well, yeah, we should
Someone
ignore
else
the
can-
manufacturing, you're right.
I don't think that's
That's a good catch, yeah, we should just ignore the
that's
manufacturing.
not even in front of us.
Yeah,
I think more at issue is the proportion of revenue that'll be coming if it's incidental. I think that's the issue that we're running into in home occupation as it relates to the public, and that's what we've looked at before. Should we get testimony about the proportion of the revenue?
the proportion of the revenue.
What's the 25%?
Oh,
Yes.
gotcha.
Yes.
The face-to-face wholesale retail sale of stocked inventories is not permitted,
Unless,
except for incidental sales that do not exceed 25% of total home occupation sales.
so basically there would have to be 75% that would have to be done online or, populating in a flea market elsewhere. Or mall, sorry.
I mean, I think the idea is mail order, telephone, internet sales, that's fine, but it's the face-to-face that's the issue.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I did look and I didn't really find it, but the zoning classification of the property probably doesn't play in at all, does it? Because, we have this is an agricultural zone property. We have the agribusiness ordinance. I know this isn't agriculture, so I'm not trying to relate it to that, but there's a lot of face-to-face sales that go on farms.
It's basically saying 75% of his sales has to be somewhere else than on this premise.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the way you have to look at it. Only sell 25% incidental.
Could be a condition.
No, sorry.
So of the total sales for this LLC that's going to happen, only 25% can happen face-to-face on the
LLC,
property.
it'll run with the petitioner, so anything the petitioner's selling, because this will run not with the LLC, which is informed, it has to be the petitioner.
That's why we had them come back with their business, isn't it? Because they refiled as the business.
They didn't have a business at the time, so there was really wasn't really ripe to be here.
If we were to continue and ask them to come back, they'd have to renotice. They'd have to do it all over again, right? Because they'd have to renotice as the LLC. That's what the other folks did, I think.
No, I don't think they did, because they were in just the month.
But they
Oh,
did
it was
come back.
1 month before.
They were a little different because they were already doing it. That's
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, that was
a little bit different fact pattern there.
And the neighbors were already upset about it.
It was January to March, I think, is when we had them.
And I think that 100% of the sales is going to be here, it sounds like. So,
Am I allowed to talk to Kayla real quick?
if she'd like to, she can. But,
How we got around.
and all of that is in our home occupation ordinance.
Mm-hmm. It's county code.
Oh, county code. Okay.
But no, our ordinance, it's county code. Planning and zoning code.
But, I mean, our options are either we can do a vote, and I'm happy to put a package of conditions together, or to continue. It would be conditions should there be a favorable vote, but those are our options, Rhonda?
What is that section you were reading from, Rhonda?
Yep. 156.066, home occupation standards. That was B1. Down under, if you read to under parking and business vehicles, the home occupation shall not involve on-site customers, employees, meetings, or other events that necessitate the installation of any off-street parking spaces in addition to those required by this chapter for the dwelling unit. The on-site storage of business vehicles shall meet the requirements in 156.069.
I think for consistency purposes, it might be most appropriate that we do have a motion for continuance in order to allow for an entity for us to consider. We're just not ripe to consider this. We have a precedent of that, although nothing is precedent in the BZA, I understand that, but it would be best if we had something of an occupation and an LLC to consider.
Yeah, I mean, it references, and I wondered about this the last time, it references owner-operator. So, I mean, they're I don't know that, to me, I don't know that it really matters that much if the LLC, because he'd be the owner-operator of the LLC and the owner of the home, but.
I think it was the taxation issue we were concerned with. with the remittance of, I think that was the issue, because there was
On the last one?
Yes.
Mhm, yeah.
there was taxation issues.
Comment that this was a business and not a hobby.
So what he was saying is that sales tax and all of that was collected when he was in the mall because he was a vendor in the mall and they collected it. That, he'll have to set all that up.
Well, any thoughts? We were started to look at the conditions. but-
I'm very deferential to procedure and to consistency, and so I would make a motion for continuance because we do not have an entity, and taxation issues are upon us. I think there's some other concerns reasons why I would make the proposal. I do think there's a definitional issue with 25% limit of revenue. I think that's core, and I think there's other items we've discussed, but those are probably two of the procedural items that are just not resolved. A motion to continue until the next meeting, in which case we may have a better setup for an entity to consider this application. Okay.
All right, so we've got a motion made by Mrs. Willard and a second by Mrs. Casey. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, 3-1. With Mr. Rubel deny. So this would then continue to next month. Kayla, is additional notice required? No additional notice, just come back with the new entity. We don't need to notice under the new entity. We didn't the last time.
No.
Okay.
I would defer to Rhonda, counsel.
Not unless you ask for notice to be given again. If not, we typically don't.
Okay. No additional fees or anything like that. Okay. All right.
Have any other direction on actions from the petitioner over the course of the next month?
I'd like to resolve this 25% revenue concern, and maybe that's a variance, I guess, because Rhonda read a handful of things that maybe are some additional variances that need to be filed, in which case they would need to renotice. If we were doing a variance against this revenue issue.
Right.
To get a variance from that particular standard?
Yeah, looked like maybe we might have missed a couple of standards, so we'll continue to ignore the manufacturing. Activities, face-to-face wholesale. Yeah, so it would be the item B1. I think we probably need to see a variance for that.
Under the current business model.
Yeah.
That gives us something we can work with the petitioner on.
25% entity. I do think we'll probably want to see in the conditions substantial conformance with the construction as presented. Coordination, a notice to the sheriff's office. Advertising on social only, no field posting. And then clarification on sub 3 on the special exception, which is days, hours, and what days of the week, what hours, and total days recommended. I mean, we would get some consistency from staff between 12 and 24, big difference.
If they're manufacturing on the site too, they'd need a variance for that too. If they're,
Yeah, they didn't ask.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're missing some, I think that, I agree, they're missing some things that they are going to need approvals.
Okay. Got all that? All right. So we'll see you guys again next month, unfortunately. So. Let's leave our ballots in your folders, please, so they can reuse those.
Oh,
Did you already toss it?
I already big X on that one, so,
Well,
sorry.
then you'll get new
I'll
ballots.
get new ballots, just for paperwork so I don't bring it in.
Okay, 7:51 already. Tried to do a good job. All right, item number 2 was continued. Item number 3 will be Elisa Cox, Oakwood Drive, New Palestine, a variance for an in-ground swimming pool.
Cold swimming pool.
Fun with pools. I did have a question on this one while she's getting set up, Rhonda. This is, never mind. I just answered it.
Ready?
Yes.
So, Melissa Cox of Sea Rays Pools, representing Mark and Catherine Riffle, who have a property at 2155 South Oakwood Drive, Sugar Creek Township. This is zoned R2.5. Septic subdivision. Septic's located in the backyard of this property, which makes it a little tricky for them to locate a pool. The option that was arrived at was to locate the pool on the north side of the lot in the back, also still in the backyard, but it required a reduction in the minimum 15-foot side yard setback to 7 feet. Here you can see the location of the proposed pool and its location toward the property line. Needs a 10-foot separation from the septic field. I did ask Alyssa whether or not there were other locations on the lot that could be looked at, and as you can see from the septic setup, there just really aren't many once you take into consideration the location of that septic field in the backyard. A couple other things, just to go over this very quickly, that we can look at as far as what we might need to take into consideration. You are allowed to look at why, practical difficulty is the strict application of the terms of our zoning ordinance. Will it result in a practical difficulty in the use of the property? So this is a situation that could be looked at as, is the installation of a pool something that is a true practical difficulty in the use of this lot as a single-family lot? That's something you could look at. You could also look at, well, is this variance hurting anything? Is this still in keeping with, the general welfare? Also, the adjacent property. Is this hurting or hindering or hurting the value of the adjacent properties? So these are all things you can take into account when you look at a variance like this. Another thing we're looking at in a case like this is that there is sometimes a surrounding pool deck, so like a 3-foot concrete walkway that would go around a pool like this. And sometimes what we see is that folks really enjoy their pool and then also decide to do maybe a berm and some landscaping and other things that then maybe affect adversely, like the drainage of their neighbor's property or something like that. So those are other unintended kind of consequences that we see. In the case of a pool like the one shown in this plan, we kind of looked at, okay, what would it take to get to approval potentially? So the variance shall apply only to the pool, wouldn't apply to any other structures on the property. This would just be a setback variance for this pool. It shall run with the property. The building permits related to this variance must be permitted or must be obtained within 12 months of the approval date. So they've got 12 months to work it out with the health department, get a survey, all of these things that our department would require, and an occupancy permit or a final permit, permission to occupy the pool, shall be obtained within 12 months of the approval of the building permit, or the variance will automatically expire. Additionally, I would suggest adding something that's in your typical conditions, variance number 5 under additional condition for variances number 5. A stake survey must be obtained and stakes remain in the ground until final inspection is complete. We don't want anybody getting confused about where the edge of the pool needs to be and where the property line truly is. So that's my presentation.
All right, any questions for Kayla? All right. The petitioner here.
Are you both
Are you
going
both going to speak?
Oh, either I didn't know who you wanted to hear. I'm Alyssa with Sea Ray Pools.
How about I swear you both
Mark
in?
Riffle,
we'll
the
just-
homeowner.
That way you're ready to talk when you're ready. Just both of you swear in.
Sorry. Yeah.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay, please both state your names and spell your last name.
Alyssa Cox, COX.
Mark Riffle, RIFFLE.
Okay, you have 7 minutes.
Okay, so we are here to put in a swimming pool for the Riffle family. After looking at the property, really this would be the only location for the swimming pool. Even if you look at the other side of the yard, we would be getting into being too close to the septic on that side, or getting into the 15-foot side yard setback. I know there was questions about like drainage. I believe the property is one of the higher properties that sits in the neighborhood, so drainage really is an issue. Also, we would have to conform to and meet all the requirements for erosion control during the inspection. So that would be something that would have to be taken care of in order to get an occupancy permit. So,
Is there a fence that runs along that blue line that we're not seeing?
there is, yeah.
There's a fence, okay. And would you be planning any berms or any other?
No, potentially, if anything, we're talking about actually buy them online.
Can you move? I'm sorry. Can you move over to the microphone to make sure we get you recorded?
There's things you can, there's approvals we need to get for it, but the fence right now is an aluminum black see-through fence, and so the plan would be to make it, a black flat fence on that side. We've talked to our neighbor who's most impacted by this. They're in support of the project, and they're also in support of whatever fencing we would put in. I also talked to them about potentially doing some sort of tree or shrubs, tall grasses, something along there, and they were in support of that as well. But yeah, we're planning on leaving the fence there, hopefully. Dog and little kids, so nice to have.
Any objections to the conditions that were presented by staff? It would only apply to the pool. Get your work done in 12 months, and then there's a new recommendation to stake everything out and make sure.
We wouldn't be able to just go by the beacon map in order to, okay.
So we've had some fairly serious problems with pools.
Okay.
And because of the inspections, they think that they have a property line defined by beacon and all that stuff, but they don't. And then they end up in the neighbor's yard or something like that. So I know it's an extra expense, unfortunately, but it's insurance, that you're not going to find a problem with the inspectors.
Would it just need to be a boundary survey? We
Yeah,
wouldn't
just
need to
stake-
have
Okay.
anything that shows the improvements, just to stake out the
You would,
boundary?
you would stake that property line that you're abutting there.
Yeah,
Needed.
that, I think that is, the property line is set up via plat, the property's platted,
Right,
so the property line is already set in stone.
yeah.
So, I think that's a reasonable request.
Yeah.
I would just ask that we don't have to get an Alta survey. I
No,
know,
it's not for anything like that.
Okay,
It's,
that's what we're-
it's a visual, really. So when the inspector shows up, they've got something to look at. They can pull a string between the pins and,
Yeah.
yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, we would like that too, just
Yeah.
to protect
It's
us.
safety, it's
Yeah.
insurance,
Yeah.
yeah.
And would that be required in connection with the issuance of the permit?
You would just have to have it done. I don't think, I mean, it might be good if you brought documentation that it was done so
Yeah.
that Scott knows, but yeah, that'd
Okay.
probably be good, yeah. These swimming pools, the concrete around it, that's needed, right? To hold is this one of these pools that you got to pour concrete around it to hold it down into the ground? Is that?
Yeah, it's a steel wall construction. It has a concrete footer that's poured around and holds it in place. It's a concrete bottom and it's fitted with a vinyl liner retainer.
So the reason I'm asking, so we're considering a variance for a setback to the edge of the pool, not the edge of the concrete, is my understanding.
On that side, yes. On the 10-foot, for the sanitary, they are stating that it has to be from the concrete to
Right.
so that's where we move the pool.
Understand that.
So, but yes, we're requesting, I mean, 3 feet is really the minimal, to make ADA, for a wheelchair to, if they had to go around the swimming pool or something, I mean, we really don't want to go any narrower than that.
So you'll have about 4 feet of lawn between the concrete and the fence, and you won't, that won't really change your drainage at all onto your neighbor's property.
No,
You're
and
going
in
to keep the
fact-
same grades.
In fact, on that drawing where the blue line is located and a little to the right of the blue line on the drawing that's on the screen, that's where the drainage swale is at its deepest. So the curvature doesn't really go all the way down into the right of that blue line.
And it's important to us to get water away, from the pool too, so that it doesn't negatively affect it. So, I mean, if we need to put in like French drains or something, if there's some sort of, drainage issue, we would absolutely, be aware of that and make sure that
Yeah.
thing is draining. And I would assume that the inspector would bring that up too when they're inspecting for erosion control.
Yeah. Have you put a pool this close to a house foundation before? I mean, that might compromise the footing.
No, so it does go by the 45-degree rule, so as long as so the pool at that point, so what do I have, 6 feet, correct? Yeah, so the pool depth and the depth away, as long as we're
And then,
45,
the trapezoid.
yeah, there's no
You clear
issue.
the trapezoid of the footing.
Correct,
yeah,
yes.
Okay.
Mhm. Yep, so that is a concern, but it's been taken care of here, yeah.
More questions? You like when I start talking about foundations and stuff, don't you? Fun stuff. All right, thank you. Do you have anybody that wants to speak in opposition to this variance? No opposition? Any government officials? They're not here. You have rebuttal period, but you've got nothing to rebut, so I assume you're good. So, okay. All right, discussion on the variance, discussion on conditions.
Ayla, could you just read the stake survey language for me one more time?
A stake survey must be obtained and stakes remain in the ground until final inspection is complete.
Ready for a motion?
I probably should have asked them when they were up here, but the neighbor, I mean, they testified that the neighbor was in support, but it'd be nice for them to present a letter or something when they come to get their permit, just to make sure it's they do have support, maybe? I don't know if we're considering that. If you consider that testimony, I guess, as part of your decision-making, it'd be, yeah. So it's
Noticed.
hearsay testimony, they were noticed, so yeah, I guess that makes them by default in support, so, okay. All right, do what you
Okay.
planned to do.
So a motion, should this variance receive approval, then staff conditions 1, 2, and 3 regarding the stake survey will accompany.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that should the variance be accepted, it be conditioned on the conditions that were just stated. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All approved. Please fill out your ballots now.
Okay, case number 25-2629. The variance is granted, a vote of 4-0.
All right, you're all set. Thank you. Thanks for coming in. All right, moving along, item number 4. It's like Daryl White, variance for a setback for wooden staircase.
Petitioner tonight is Daryl White, DHLW LLC. And this is for his subject property at 10361 US 40 East in Charlottesville. This is in Jackson Township, and it is zoned commercial community. So this is a project that started out as a without a permit. And so we are kind of asking for a variance for setbacks after the fact here, so you can see what he built and why he needs the setback in the pictures that are included. Mike Gibson has also done a survey showing where these improvements land in relation to the property line. A little background, this is a residential structure, a very, very, very old residential structure that was an existing and very dilapidated triplex in Charlottesville. Mr. White has improved the property and really fixed it up. As such, though, he jumped the gun and didn't get permits. And so that's why we're here tonight. There are village overlay requirements here that give him a lot of leeway in those setbacks. As you'll see, the typical 15-foot setback in the situation of this back stairway, due to the village overlay standard, which looks at neighboring properties, actually reduces his required setback to just 6 feet in this case. And so the reduction he's asking for then of 6.5 feet. So the reduction he's asking for then is from 6.5 feet to 2.8 feet, which is where the staircase is presently built. So to get to a yes on this or an approval, we did have some conditions to look at. First, the petitioner must work with the Hancock County Building Department to ensure that the staircase is up to building code. First and foremost, if this isn't up to code, this is not something we're saying is okay. This is very much dependent on obtaining a permit. Number 2 condition, The variance approval shall apply only to the existing staircase and shall run with the property. And I think we would take that to mean a staircase in this location, in case they would have to say rebuild that staircase. Number 3, building permits relating to this variance must be obtained within 12 months of the above approval date, and an occupancy permit must be obtained within 12 months of approval of the building permit, or the variance will automatically expire. So if Mr. White cannot get a permit for retroactively for this staircase within 12 months, this variance expires. And so we're right back to violation. All right, so that's where we're at. I will turn it over to Mr. White, and unless you have questions.
I did have a question. Has the building department reviewed it at all? Have they looked at plans of it or anything? What is their thoughts on its ability to meet their residential building code?
Mr. White would need to submit plans for a permit in order for the building department to review.
That has not been done. Okay.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Are you both going to speak? I'll swear you both in at the same time. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please state your name and spell your last name.
Daryl White, WHITE.
Daniel Lynch, LYNCH.
Okay, you have 7 minutes.
Built the staircase to code, and we need setback. None of the neighbors have a problem with it. Have completely refurbished, made the structure 1,000% better.
When it comes to the permits, we contract, we've used the same guys for 7 years. We couldn't help that they didn't do their due diligence on it, and now we're paying the price for it. We've paid for everything. Hopefully, what you guys see is 1,000% better than what was there. We built them out to code from what we know, but we didn't realize, so the stairs that were there before were straight up and down. I mean, you wouldn't have went up them, you know what I mean? So we built them more user-friendly. We're not kind of, limiting ourselves to who can go up and down these stairs, who can live in there, who we can rent to, who we can't, so that's why they're built the way they are. If you'd have seen them before.
Before they were straight up and down.
Yeah, and they were falling down like it was bad.
It was dilapidated. So go ahead.
This is a rental property.
Correct.
It's a triplex.
Triplex, okay. So,
We went back to what it was.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, before it was straight up and down. The way they're built now is to code. So it comes out and then sideways.
With a landing and then down, which you see in the picture.
Is that an alley along the back of that?
Yep. And you can fit fire trucks, you can fit ambulance, everything. We pull trailers with backhoes and stuff. Down that alley, there's plenty of parking.
Is that paved or is that a gravel?
It's
alley?
gravel. We actually take care of that whole alley. We fill in all the potholes, we bring in the gravel. No one pays us for that. We take care of all that. He's lived there for years. His mom actually lives a street back, so they're real familiar with the community.
Okay, so you guys,
And do the whole house.
oh, got it,
And
okay.
yeah, that's where they failed to pull all the permits they needed. So that's why we're where we are right now.
Got it.
Still engaged with you?
Yeah, but we're more or less taking on the chin and just doing it ourselves. So that's why we're here today. And it's, it stopped us from moving forward with our cash out refis and everything else. And it's just, 7, 8 months or however long it's been. So we're like really trying to get it figured out.
Sure.
We're willing to do,
What it takes.
what it takes.
Is this the only remaining item that is this it? This is it, okay.
And there's no other way. If you look at that, there's no other way to make that user-friendly. I mean, we did it as nice as possible and as user-friendly as possible as we could.
You believe it's to code?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You pulled the permits for all the interior?
Everything,
You pulled all the permits for all the interior?
So what was done on the inside was, drywall and whatnot. Didn't really wasn't structural or anything like that.
So there's been no permits pulled on the property, period, for the restoration, or for the renovation?
Correct.
Somebody who built the building probably knows better than that.
So what?
Somebody that's gonna redo a structure like that probably should know better than that.
Yeah, yeah, you would say so.
Yeah.
In 7 years, I mean, this isn't even they're used to this, you know what I mean? So we're not sure what exactly happened. If you look at the times that we started and built and did, it was winter, so I don't know if they were just, I really don't understand why they didn't, because now we gotta put up with this, and we probably still would've had to do variance to be able to do this staircase anyways, because I would have never put it back how it was. Never would have done that. No way. I don't know how it passed whenever it did, you know what I mean?
Well, they didn't have to.
Oh, okay, well,
Straight up.
that was horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, look,
I know the biggest question we got asked was about safety vehicles, and there's more than enough room to get down through there.
so what goes to the, I guess it'd be the west. I mean, you could have maybe, you could just maybe go straight west off the landing maybe, but is that the driveway or something? Is that the issue? What's a hard time
What do you
telling?
mean west, like going back towards Greenfield?
Yeah, like if you started the stair here and just took it just came straight down towards this car.
Yeah, so there's actually units there, AC units, and that's another apartment right there
Okay.
with another concrete pad, you know, for their little porch or whatnot.
I want to say there was something with
Yeah.
50 feet or something.
So are you, there are some conditions that were presented by staff. One is that you need to work with the building department to ensure the staircase is to code. Two, that the variance approval should only apply to the existing staircase, the one with the property, so you're not building any more staircases.
No, it's done.
And then the building permits related to the variance must be obtained, so you're ready to obtain permits for this,
Yeah.
which may, a permit might impact other items. You might be aware, pulling a permit for this, there might be some other items identified? Okay, all right, but you're okay with those conditions? All three of those, okay.
What do they mean by that?
They used to recommend like double permit fees or something like that, but
I think it still is,
is it?
something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that right? Double
Kayla?
fees.
They'll have double fees, okay.
So
Kayla, is that something that needs to be in a condition, or is that just already going to happen? Okay.
It just happens, okay.
Standard.
Okay. All right, any additional questions for the petitioners? No?
And we have an open violation right now, is that what we have, because we had a complaint?
I understood it.
There's an open complaint, this came in through a complaint? So we would probably want to stay any activity with regard to the open violation, assuming that you're good faith complying with these items.
And from my understanding, they came out, took pictures, measured, and did everything already, correct?
You've been out there.
The inspector already, yeah, we already had them out. I mean, they came out multiple times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they already went out and did and told us, I mean, as far as we know, what they said, everything was already to code. The only problem we had was this variance.
Oh, that being in the setback.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the building inspector has been out and looked at the stair.
Yeah, that's what he's
Okay.
saying. They took the
Yeah.
pictures. They did all this. That was our complaint. They were our complaint. We didn't
Okay.
have complaints from like citizens. It was.
Got it. Okay.
Hell, everyone's told us we've done a great job. So.
So, can I ask Kayla a question? So explain to me, in this circumstance, you've got a structure that's already built, and we've got to give them a variance before they'll even sign off on and do the inspection of the new construction? Is that where we're at?
So where we're at is we know there's a violation because they didn't get a building permit to do the work they did, which involved expanding the stairways into the setback. So that's where we know we need a variance. They have not applied for their permits. That is what we need to do to start review. However, typically, we will stop them at the counter if we see a setback issue that requires a visit to this board.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say the building has been done, like the exterior, they really did preserve a lot of the nice historic features, including the historic cornice, and have definitely improved the state of that corner 1,000%. Completely agree.
We took an eyesore and made it actually enjoyable to look at. I've heard that they were going to tear it down and everything else, so
I was worried.
I think that, yeah. And we made it nice to where, our rent's pretty reasonable, but we made it nice enough we rent houses, that's what we do. He has over 30 rentals, we have a bunch of rentals between each other. We know what to put in certain areas, and like I said, he grew up there, his mom lives back there. We made it super nice to where it might keep, like trashier people out of there. And that's why we did what we did and why we made it as nice as we did. So we didn't go there to throw it together, be a slumlord, put a bunch of people that ain't going to pay you, going to destroy the property, whatever. And we made it nice. So that was our whole objective when we did this.
Okay. All right.
So they're not going to get a C of O until the inspection's done, basically, is what we're
Right.
saying.
So he has to review the plans.
Right.
And we're going backwards now.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Kind of a restart, yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
with the proper paperwork. Okay, any more questions?
Is
All
this
right.
the first one you've done?
First what?
Project like this?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Yeah. Like I said, he has over 30 rentals himself, and hell, we have, 7 or 8 between each other, so. That's why I don't understand the whole permit issue of why that didn't get done, which we can't change now. We can only move forward.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
If anybody wants to speak in opposition, any government officials? None. All right, discussion on the conditions.
I will make a motion. Should this variance be approved, staff conditions 1, 2, and 3 will attach, and add number 4, that during the pendency of the building permit process, any fines related to the open complaint will be stayed.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. Should the variance be approved, it be subject to the stated conditions. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Okay.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Go ahead and fill out your ballots.
Okay, variance and case number 25-2630 is granted, a vote of 4-0.
All right, thank you, guys. To submit your plans to the building department.
Conditions, you have to get a permit.
Yep.
So now you need to apply for a permit.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you.
Thank you,
Thanks, guys. All right, we're doing good now. Let's move on to item number 5. A special exception for an accessory dwelling above a barn.
Great, let me pull that up. Got a real thing for gable returns, and they kept them on this building, which is a real relief. So I was happy to see that they kept that. All right, so Bridget and Ryan Tooney live at 6288 West Steinmeier Road, and I don't know if this is the correct, we did spell Steinmeier correct tonight. I misspell it every time I try. Sugar Creek Township, and this is R1.0 zoning. The request is for a special exception, and it does not require any variance requests. I think this might be about the first one ever that is just straightforward, just the special exception, no variances from our special exception standards for ADUs. You can see here, this is a larger lot. I believe it's about 3 acres. We've got a site plan here kind of showing the layout, where the proposed well and septic are for this ADU, where the barn is, how the ADU will fit in, where the existing home is. The accessory structure that this is scheduled to go on top of is currently a pole barn. We do not have drawings as far as what the ADU will look like long-term. So those are things that this board can establish some sort of guidelines on. Like, obviously it will have to comply with inspection and will have to get a permit and meet building code for a dwelling unit. So that's something. But if you, say, wanted to require a front porch around the walk-in entrance or some other feature that would make this more residential in nature, that's definitely something that this board can add conditions to. So just to clarify why this does not need any variances, it is not exceeding 850 square feet in area. It is located above a detached garage or workshop. And those are really the only 2 criteria it had to meet to not require a variance. I would point out there is nothing in our code that states that ADUs are temporary. ADUs are an accessory use. It is solely through our treatment of them as special exceptions that we have placed any temporary timelines on them. Part of this request is for it to be not so temporary. While this initial request is for the Tooneys to house their parents there, they would like to keep the ADU classification indefinitely. There is some concern from the health department about this regarding if this constitutes long-term 2 single-family dwellings on the same parcel. I guess what I would say there is if the health department does have trouble with this permit or any others, it will hold up that permit in the health department when they inspect this sort of ADU permit, or at some point over the years through the conditions that we will put on this as far as requiring that an ADU get an annual occupancy permit, or if the ADU becomes a public nuisance, then the special exception's revoked. Like, these are all things that we typically also attach to special exceptions that we could put in place there. So the conditions that typically get put in place with an ADU are as follows. The accessory dwelling shall be for the exclusive purpose of providing a temporary residence of the owner's family member. Only petitioner's family members can occupy this dwelling under the special exception. Number 2, the special exception shall be limited to and run with the current owners and shall not be transferable to any subsequent owner. 3, the property shall be served by single electric meter, gas meter, and mailing address. 4, the owner shall seek and obtain an occupancy permit and annual occupancy permits for the accessory dwelling. 5, when the special exception has expired or when the accessory dwelling is no longer needed for the stated purpose, the living quarters and kitchen shall be removed. The building shall no longer function as a dwelling. 6, the BZA reserves the right to revoke the special exception at a public hearing if the accessory dwelling is demonstrated to constitute a public nuisance. And let's talk once again, public nuisances can mean a number of things. If, once again, this becomes a health violation, which would be the health department's fear, that would constitute a public nuisance. And that's the language that could revoke it. 7, the owner shall record a commitment to the satisfaction of the planning director stating the above terms or whatever conditions this board agrees to. And 8, a building permit and/or improvement of location permit relating to the special exception must be obtained within 12 months of the above approval date, and an occupancy permit must be obtained within 12 months of approval of the permit, or the special exception will automatically expire. A couple notes on this. If this board would like to uphold the idea of a permanent ADU versus temporary, as nothing in our zoning ordinance or ADU standards state temporary in relation to ADU, conditions 1 and 5 could be struck. Other conditions proposed here are equally effective in making sure that this does not become a public nuisance and that it stays part of the primary use of this lot, which is still single-family residential. Like I said at the beginning of this presentation, an additional condition requiring architectural features like a one-story porch around the ADU entrance or any number of other requirements, which once again, when this goes to receive a building permit, it obviously will have to meet certain design requirements like egress windows, things like that. But you certainly could require something at this body if that's your wish. So that's where I'll leave things. I will turn it over to the Toonies, unless you have any questions for me about this one.
I just have one. I regularly seek a waiver of restoration in occupancy, and to build and then have to take this out as a big expense. So how often are we historically seeing the removal or enforcing that or requesting it? I mean, the whole thing.
I'm going to turn that over. Dennis, do you have any knowledge about that at this point? I know you're working through annual occupancy permits right now. How often do you have people report back that they don't need the ADU anymore and they're tearing things out?
I haven't seen any.
I mean, it's a variance, so, I mean, if, it doesn't matter if it's the Toonies or whoever owns it, that it'll always be there, right?
No, this is a special exception.
Oh, it's a special exception. I thought it was a.
This is actually rare in that most of our ADUs do require variances. But because this is a second story ADU and it meets the square footage, we're good.
Got it.
So it's just a special exception and it can be connected with the Toonies.
Okay.
And what that could ultimately mean, because I know like convenience stores obviously are also special exceptions and we all know they don't go away. But we could also say, that, okay, so this expires when, say, the Toonies move out in 50 years or so. If somebody else buys the property and says, well, I really like the idea of this being an ADU, if that is still something that this board requires to be a special exception, they are more than welcome to come back to this board and also apply for that ADU. If we're still sending out annual occupancy permits, they will know. Yep.
Okay, any more questions for Kayla? No? Petitioner here, I assume? Yep.
I'll swear you both in. You both going to speak? Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please state your names, spell your last names.
Bridget, last name Tunney, T-U-N. Griffin, G-R-I-F-F-I-N.
7 minutes.
We want to build this, we're proposing to build this.
I want to ask you to come a little, so you're closer to the microphone.
Yeah.
Soft speaking there, so.
No problem.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We are proposing to build this ADU above our existing pole barn so we can reside our aging parents to keep them close to us. Family's important. I'm a nurse, and just to keep them close and be able to tend to them as they grow older.
There's a lot of conditions that were put up there. Have you had a chance to look through and think through those, or any comments on those conditions?
I need more time, I think, to think through and understand all the conditions.
Sounded like from those conditions.
Only 1 and 5.
A 1 and 5.
Yeah.
So 1 is family. What was the 5th condition?
And the 5th one was requiring you to remove the kitchen from the unit if it was no longer used as an accessory dwelling.
Well, why don't we talk through them?
Yeah.
So 1 is that it can only be for family members, and that only family members can occupy under the special exception. So it wouldn't be available for rental to third parties. That's really the intent there. The number 2 is that it only is going to be in the name of the petitioner. So it'd be Bridget and Ryan. So it will run with the applicants, the current owners. It wouldn't be transferable unless you come back here, or someone comes back here and requests that. It has to have a single meter for electric, gas, and mailing address. And there's an occupancy permit and annual renewal of that for an ADU. And here's number 5 that can be waived, we talked about. When it's expired or when no longer needed, the living quarters and kitchen shall be removed, and the building shall no longer function as a dwelling. Okay. And then number 6, we can revoke it if we get complaints, which may result in removal as well. And there's a commitment to the satisfaction of the planning director stating the above terms, although we would put it in our special exception approval as well. And then finally, you would have to get any type of permit within 12 months. So if you don't go and get it, this expires. The other item we would add is that there might be, and we would like to discuss with you, what is this thing going to look like? Design standards. So would it look like substantial conformance to the existing either garage structure or home structure? Is it usually a question we ask? So maybe we'll start with anything in those first 8 that you have particular concerns with?
Number 5.
5. And specifically about the removal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that.
She does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once they, God willing, live forever, but once they move on, it's very costly. And
Right.
we don't have our official building plans, and we should soon. We hope to have them by tonight. But we have a proposed idea of how much it would cost, and we couldn't, we wouldn't want to do it to have to tear down. We have, other ideas. I have out-of-town siblings who could come stay, down the line for the proposed use of it after, but it'd be tough to build and then tear down.
And what will it look like? With the outside of it mostly is what we're concerned with. The inside is.
The outside will match the existing barn. It will have windows and a deck off the front or off the back towards the back of the property, but the siding will match the existing barn.
Yeah, so when I was reviewing this case, since there weren't plans of that, I was going to ask for a condition that you present that to the staff's satisfaction. So we kind of leave it to Kayla and her staff to determine if it's satisfactory to meet that requirement. So you wouldn't have to come back and show it to us necessarily,
Okay.
but you'd have to get their approval prior to the building permit approval, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
You're just concerned.
Their aesthetic approval, yeah, aesthetic approval.
We're working with the,
You're not going to rent it out to the public or to general people, like it'll be all family? If someone, I mean, you're not intending,
Folks that they know, they have.
it's being built for my parents. However, sure, my sister or my brother, so all family.
I think you still fit within the conditions then, because number 1 says for exclusive use of family. So as long as you're continuing to use it for family, you would not have to take out the kitchen or living quarters. Do you have any plan to like Airbnb it or anything like that?
We haven't thought that far. What we,
Because I think that's kind of where you probably cross the line in these conditions.
Okay, I see.
That's really what that whole kitchen thing is in there for, is just to make sure that it doesn't end up as a rental property or a short-term rental or something like that, that they're kind of taboo, I guess, around here. So this particular property, I was talking to Kayla about it. One thing that I like about it is that it's an R1 zoning. It's over 3 acres. So having 2 residences there does not affect the density of that zoning's requirement, if that makes sense. So that zoning would require, what do we say, Kayla, 1.5 acres per dwelling unit. So, it's one of the things about the ADUs get some pushback on is density increasing, and you're not really increasing the density from our zoning requirements. So that makes it, pretty straightforward from that perspective. So it's really, you're really creating an apartment for visiting family, like long-term visits. So it would be various family members that would come in and stay for a length of time. Okay. All right. Any more questions? All right. Thank you. Anybody here wants to speak in opposition to this petition? Government officials? None? Oh, sorry. Yep.
Time to kind of say.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name, spell your last name.
Gina Reiniger, Rininger. It's not really opposition. I guess it's just more or less, I drove past the property because my farm backs up to this particular area. And I just wondered how the barn that they're going to renovate is a single-story barn. So that's why I guess I just was asking additional questions on how, but I guess that's maybe not for me to ask. That's going to be for you guys to approve once you do see the plans.
is the concern the structural integrity of the second floor?
It's a very old, just an old aluminum pole barn, single story, a large door, sliding door in the front, and the accessibility above that door is only, I mean, I don't measure it or anything, but 5-10 feet, if that. It's not height-wise to stand up above this barn. So I was just wondering how they're going to design it so it doesn't affect the neighborhood on their resale, that something is sitting next door to them that's not quite up to par, I want to say. So I just want to be sure that somebody is covering that. It's not like I'm opposing it, because I think, like you said, it's a large piece of property, and there's not going to be any problems with the special, separate driveway and everything. And who polices on who she rents to? We did receive, her testimony that she is going to rent to family, but since I am in real estate, I see all the time that doesn't happen. And the other thing is that some mortgage companies, new lenders, will require the apartment to have the kitchen removed, just so that you know that if you ever go to resell. So I've had that before as well. So it's not an automatic that it's going to stay the way it is. And most buyers, when they do see something like that, they're going to assume that they can just rent it out to whoever. They won't show their face back up here again. And who's going to police that? So it's just
Well,
food
Dennis
for thought
sends a-
that I don't know about.
He sends a notice once a year for that, but yeah, so they would get the notice, and then it's, I guess, up to the neighbors to find out, they come in and complain. Other than that, you're right. I mean, it could just do whatever it's doing back there unless somebody complains at that point.
So it's an annual occupancy, and you would send that out, and if it came back with a different name on it or didn't come back at all, then we would have a
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time out there, people stay to themselves. Like I said, I'm not opposing it. I just would like to see more. That's why I attended today, was just to see more information, because I can't figure out how in the world they're going to do that, with the structure that they currently have. And it's like I said, it's an old metal, so it's going to have to be replaced. Most of that metal is going to have to be replaced on the exterior of it to bring it up to par. So I didn't know how it's going to be done very easily.
Okay.
When she said something like that. So that's all it was, just more additional questions that I couldn't sit back there and raise my hand, and you guys answer my questions. So
Okay.
that's all.
All right. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right. You have, the petitioner has a rebuttal period here. If you'd like to respond to any of those questions or comments. Three minutes.
As far as the rebuttal and how to build, we would be adding on to the existing barn and building the ADU above that on the new barn. I think the builder called it gable style, so he would pop it up that way to meet the height requirement. So I don't know if that answers that question on how we would build it, or what our approach is.
Yeah, it's not going to be higher than, or built on top of the barn, which she said it's a level, but it's a pretty high barn. It could have a loft.
Yeah, it's
So
within
you're
the height
building a gable you'll have a ridge, and you'll have a gable that's facing the west.
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, of the max height. Yeah, but still within the limits of the maximum height.
Okay. And you guys, you said you were okay with the. You made the comment that you wanted to look over the conditions. Are you good with the explanation that we gave, or do you want to?
I think I have to ask for number 1, if that could be removed. I don't know that we've thought past, once my parents move on. We've had some ideas, and mainly involving siblings, but also have, friends or a babysitter that could stay. So I asked that number 1 could be removed.
Okay. All right, we'll discuss the conditions here in our next phase of discussion. So, any other questions for them?
Were you wanting number 5 removed also?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That it? Good? All good? All right. Thanks, guys. All right. So any further discussion on the conditions?
Was there any specific language in the application about family member or how we noticed it? The long-term intent is to maintain the ADU indefinitely as a legal habitable unit.
The way it read was, the purpose of the petition is to allow a special exception for an accessory dwelling above the barn for ADU not to exceed 850 square feet.
I guess our options can be to grant this special exception for family members and then require a return for a change of use for individuals. So anyone, that's an option. Administrative headache for us, an enforcement issue for us.
that it's only family is an enforcement
Yeah.
nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're there now. That's what it says now.
Well,
I guess I would say whatever we have now can always be changed with a subsequent special exception for use, for different use. Mike, sorry I interrupted you.
no, I was getting ready to think out loud, I think, but really the intent of number one in my mind has always been to prevent it becoming a rental, 1 and 5, quite honestly. And so I'm wondering if condition number 1 just states that this is not, it's for their use, their use, and not for a rental. It's not for financial gain, essentially, or something like that. I don't know if that's
No rental income.
legal tough language or not, but just.
There's nothing in the code that talks about family. It just says single-family dwellings constructed and used as accessories to the primary dwelling on the property, otherwise commonly known as mother-in-law quarters and granny flats, shall be either attached to and designed and constructed as part of the primary structure or located above a detached garage or workshop. And no case may exceed 850 feet. So it doesn't even talk about family in there, other than the name of it, but that's just what they're calling it.
Yeah.
So I think that's feasible that you could change that.
Yeah, I don't know. It
Take
doesn't-
out for owner's family member to owner's personal use.
Yeah, something like that, whatever is fair language. I mean, I think that the intent of an ADU is for somebody, and like I said before, we're not changing the density of the zoning here, and so this is an opportunity for them to have a dwelling unit that they can use for long-term visitors of friends and family. So
I would change the first one to say the accessory dwelling unit shall be for the exclusive purpose of providing a temporary residence for the owner's personal use. The dwelling shall not be used as a rental or short-term rental under the special exception.
yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah.
About 5. I mean, when the special exception is expired, maybe we strike or when the no longer needed for stated purpose. 1.
Typically, what has happened is in cases like this, we have said, like, for example, if it's a situation like this, we've said, pull the stove. And so it is a lot of times as simple as remove the stove and the electric hookup for it and turn it into more of a kitchenette than a full kitchen. But once again, what they do after we inspect that, and so many people enjoy at this point in our county 2 kitchens. Canning kitchens are increasingly popular in the country. Things like this happen. So once again, enforceability is not great. And if you want to have 2 kitchens, by all means.
I would love to have a second
Yeah.
kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, I think we get the issue and we would have to request a special exception if we have the annual. Like if the property sells, it seems we pick it up there. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Really, number 5, though, when you say it's no longer needed for its stated purpose, well, we've changed what the stated purpose was in number 1. It's for the owner's personal use. So it's no longer their personal use. And I think that would be as long as they live there.
Yeah. I mean, they may walk back to the barn and just decide they're staying the night back there, fix breakfast in the morning. So, okay. Okay.
Ready for a motion?
I'm ready if you are.
Okay. So should the special exception be approved, all staff recommendations will attach with the following edits. First, for number 1, the accessory dwelling shall be for the exclusive purpose of providing a temporary residence for the owners, I guess for the special exception holder's personal use. It shall not at any time be used as a rental or short-term rental. Strike number 5 and add a new item, I guess the new number 8, is that all architectural features must receive staff approval prior to application or concurrent with the application of the permit.
Second.
You okay with approving that in the office? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good? Okay.
They probably trust you more than they trust us, so. All right. Been moved and seconded that should this special exception be approved, it be subject to the stated conditions. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You can fill out your ballots.
Sorry.
Okay, case number 25-2631. For the special exception, it is granted a vote of 4-0.
All right. Thanks for hanging in there with us.
Yeah.
All right. Other business, we're going to push the election of officers. That was really just the vice president spot to be filled. We'll just deal with that in January. If we have an issue next month, we can appoint a stand-in. Alternate members rule change. I'm just signing a document this evening on that. The cooling off period is expired, I guess, as I understand it. And zoning violations report, we'll just get that next month as well. You didn't have that ready to go, so.
The alternate members,
Yes. Let's talk about that. Yeah. Where did that go? I had it.
I have an extra.
Thanks. Do we, so the planning commission and the commissioners will be appointing members, and then Spring Lake and Shirley both need to, so will you be notifying all those parties, or do you want me to do it, or?
sure can.
Okay.
Yep. Mhm. I can get in touch with everybody and let them know, and yeah. If, Sandy, if you have anybody in mind in Spring Lake, for example, that you think might be a good alternate, that would probably be helpful information. And same for anybody here. It would be really helpful if there was, some recommendation of somebody that might be a good alternate member. I think that Mike and Lacey, your two are pretty limited because they're from the Plan Commission, so there's really not much to choose from there. But yes, Spring Lake, somebody would be a great thing to be able to have a name in mind. Same thing with Shirley and Scott. I'll probably just be notifying the Board of Commissioners that they need to have an alternate for you as well. So that one's wide open.
Mm-hmm. You were a little concerned about next year, I think, right? Of sitting on this board, time commitment?
I'll take a look at it. Yeah.
Okay, just let the commissioners know. Okay. All right.
Calendar was also in your packets
Yep.
For review. Is everybody still good with the 6:30 time?
There was a strange little conversation on Tuesday night about bumping us up to 6 o'clock at the Plan Commission, so that may happen.
That wouldn't affect me. It's fine.
You,
Rather not, but 30 minutes isn't the end of the world, so.
the extra 30 minutes is helpful to you, 6:30?
Other than we would be getting home at 8:30 instead of 9. It's past my bedtime.
I'm kind of with Scott. I do like to get out of here earlier, but that extra 30 minutes is helpful since I come here from Canada on Thursday nights. So, but yeah, it's kind of helpful. But
I have no opinion either.
okay, I was getting outnumbered, I think, Tuesday night. So, but we'll keep it there for now.
Sounds
And if you guys think about it, and you just,
It would be best if we can, I don't know, maybe keep them, but
I would like for them to be the same because otherwise I'm going to mess it up. So and show up at the wrong time
I know,
probably.
that would be
Okay,
ideal.
I'll show up at 6:30.
Yeah. Mess it up for sure. So, anything else exciting?
I don't think so. No, not really. Do you want me to have the alternates sort of some idea of, I guess at any rate, I'll inform the appointing bodies what they need to do before next month's meeting. And it would probably be a miracle if they've got names back to me before next month's meeting. But we'll aim at least for letting them know, here's what we need you guys to do. So.
Probably a two-parter. Here's what we need you to do, and just a little bit of instruction on the ballots, and like just a like we all just a refresher maybe, or maybe just even given a sheet that we can keep in these if so just a couple reminders, that would be.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Some instruction on what they're getting into. Okay.
We've got some people that have hung out the whole time. Anybody have anything they need to say? Nothing? Just, yeah, I got it. I get it. Got it. All right. We're a fun group. Yeah. You're not coming with chickens, are you?
I think I was at that one.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching and doing your homework. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
Motion. You're looking for a motion?
That one's related to me.
Oh.
Which she's just weird.
Just a social studies teacher trying to learn more about government and is now here to act meeting
Oh,
decades.
That's
She
really
is.
cool.
She's a social studies teacher at Eastern Hancock. So I've been asking her to engage in local government. So here she is.
Like to be an alternate?
Welcome.
Would you like to be an alternate?
So when my
she lives
kid,
in Greenfield.
when my kids came, the commissioners snuck out and got candy and chocolate and came in and I'm sorry, I should have gotten you some chocolate.
We were too busy tonight. No candy for you.
No candy tomorrow.
I went to work tomorrow morning, so.
Oh, it's very true.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Or opposed, same sign. 9:05's not bad.
No, well
That's not
done.
too bad.
But for the first one.
The first one drug us out a little bit, but we're good. I think so. Yeah.
I was like, okay. And then I have my.
Yeah,
And
I
then
got that.
Okay.
Okay,
I
yes.
was like,